Let's make you some money. Let's get into it. Hey guys, how you doing? Derek here from M1 Realty. I'm the broker owner, founder of the company. Started in 2014 up on the third floor of an office suite here in Ferndale, Michigan. Fast forward to today, we're at the main corner of Ferndale. We're at 9 and Woodward. Got the biggest, baddest, best real estate team in the city of Ferndale. And we're here whether you're looking to buy, sell, invest, rent, whatever you need, we've got you covered. We even do property management now. So today, I want to talk about something that most of the viewers of this channel, I believe, are interested in, and that is real estate investing. So let's take a deep dive on that. Now, we're not going to cover everything that there is when it comes to investing in real estate in like a 20-minute video. I could make an hour-long video on each one of these items, and we probably still wouldn't even scratch the surface. But I'm going to give you a good overview of the things that I've learned over 2 decades in this business and working with investors to set you up for success, whether you invest here in Metro Detroit, somewhere else in the country, whether you work with me, work with somebody else. These are things that you're going to need to know in order to really be successful at setting yourself up for passive income. So the most important thing is to have your strategy ready to go. Are you looking to buy and hold, or are you looking to fix and flip? Because depending on what strategy you're going to use, that's going to make everything else fall into line, because the same property may not be suitable for both of those strategies. So, the location that we're looking at, the price point, everything is going to be dependent on whether you want to hold that property and keep it as a rental, or whether you want to fix it up and flip it for cash. The number 2 thing we focus on is location, and if you watch this channel, you're going to know the areas that I personally think are the best ones to invest in. And this is more from a buy and hold strategy for rental properties, but I'm loving, the south end of the Woodward corridor. I'm all about Hazel Park, Oak Park, Madison Heights. I think those are 3 cities that are fantastic to invest in. Ferndale's a little bit pricey, but you're going to get more rent in Ferndale than you will in any of those other 3 cities. But that being said, the entry cost is higher. Starting to really like downriver, thanks AJ. I got a couple of investors that I'm working with down in that part of town now too. I've always liked Wyandotte. I thought that has been an undervalued city. That's prime for rental properties. But Southgate is also an excellent area. Allen Park, Lincoln Park. I've been doing a lot of business in Lincoln Park lately for whatever reason. And the more business I do in Lincoln Park, the more it's opening my eyes to, what a great area that is to invest in. Some other areas around there, Garden City, Westland, those are all cities where the entry cost is not too high, and you're still able to cash flow on a decent rental property. So, those are the 2 main areas that I look at. And then the other area that I like to focus on, that I've been doing business forever in, is the east side, like Macomb County. Started off in St. Clair Shores back when you could buy a house in St. Clair Shores for $50,000 or $60,000, and those days are long gone. But as we've kind of migrated out of the shores, we've been buying more and more investment properties in Roseville, which is also an incredible area. It's a pretty big size city, so there's a lot of inventory there compared to a lot of other cities. The price point is right where we want it to be. There, you can get good rent there. You can flip a house in Roseville. Actually, the last flip that I listed and sold for one of my investor clients was in Roseville, and he bought it for $115, I think. We ended up selling it for $205. So the potential is definitely there. So those are the 3 general areas around Metro Detroit that I really like to focus on from a rental investment standpoint. Now, that being said, fix and flip, depending on your budget, we could go anywhere, any place that we can find an undervalued property that needs work. I mean, we could be in Rochester Hills, and you could pay $350 or $400 for a fixer upper, turn around, sell it for $7. I mean, those properties exist as well. So. But I'm strictly, most of the people who watch this channel anyway that I'm working with are buying rental properties at a little bit lower price point, so we'll focus on those a little bit more. The next thing that you have to determine is if you're going to be a cash buyer or be using a mortgage. So, from an investment standpoint, if we're going up against multiple offers on an auction property or something, or a bank-owned property, we're going to have a little bit harder time getting those under contract if you're using a mortgage. That just is what it is. We're going up against cash buyers, so cash is king. I know how these banks operate, and that's one of the things that was one of their main criteria. Cash deals are just easier. They close faster. You don't have to worry about an appraisal. There's less steps involved, less ways for the deal to go south. So it is what it is. That being said, more than half of my investor clients now are buying with mortgages. So we're obviously able to find properties. So we're looking at things that maybe aren't as distressed as you'd be looking at for a fix and flip property. And actually, that's kind of our strategy, is to find something that's move-in ready or real close to it, that's priced appropriately where you can cash flow. I mean, that's just easy. We can get you into it. We're not buying the house and then having you spend a bunch of money on rehab just to rent the property out. We're just getting something that's turnkey, ready to go, move a tenant in, call it a day. And that's been working out well for us lately. And on the mortgage end of things as well, we are affiliated with just absolutely the best loan officer that I've worked with in 20 years in the business. We're able to close deals incredibly fast. Like my first deal that he financed for us, I think we were through United Wholesale Mortgage in 5 days. Like literally from the day that I showed the house to the day that we were sitting at the closing table and my client was signing the closing docs was 19 days. That's just incredibly, blindingly fast, and we can do that over and over again. And we've closed, probably over a dozen homes just in the past few months using that mortgage partner, and they just blaze right through. They close no problem. So if you do decide that you're going to use a mortgage and you don't know who to call me. We'll get you set up. We'll get you taken care of and make it nice and easy and quick for you. So once you've acquired the property, so the next thing that we're going to need to do, actually we're going to do this before it even closes. We're going to have a real good idea of what the repair budget is going to be for that property. Now, for something that you're flipping, obviously your repair budget is going to be substantially higher than something that you're looking to buy and hold. But we need to know, ballpark how much it's going to cost to rehab that home and make sure the numbers work to where there's enough of a delta there to put in your pocket at the end of the day to make it worth your while. And on the flip side, with a rental property, we also want to have a repair budget in place just for incidentals. Like, for example, property that I recently sold in Hazel Park, we had that real bad cold snap a couple weeks ago or 3 weeks ago where the temperatures got down into like the single digits and it was a -10 wind chill. It was just bitterly cold. Pipes froze. So not anything that we were anticipating, but we did have to get over there, and I ended up having to pay it wasn't even a plumber, it was my handyman. They actually had heat tape on the pipes already, but it wasn't connected. So he had to go over there, figure it out, kind of rewire a couple things to get that to just turn on. And once that happened, in literally half an hour, the water was running no problem. But we had to diagnose it. We had to get it, people out there. I bought a space heater just to see if that would help. So something like that, you never know when that's going to pop up. And there is always, little things that'll happen. It is what it is. For a rental property, I don't think you don't need to have like 5 figures in an account somewhere just in case. I mean, but a couple $1,000s is a smart move. That way, whenever something crazy pops up, you can take care of it. And on rental properties, the other thing that I recommend is getting a home warranty, simply because it's just easier and a lot of times faster to get those repairs rather than have to go scrambling. Like, say the furnace goes out or something like that. It never happens at a convenient time. It's always 9 o'clock at night on a Saturday, like without fail. That's when something bad's going to happen to the house. So it's easier just to call a 1-800 number, get them out there, repair it for $100 than to have to be, ideally you have an HVAC guy in that instance, but if you don't, then you got to be calling around. Now you're paying somebody, emergency rates. It's going to cost you thousands of dollars. We don't want that. So just budget a couple grand, have people in place that you can call, or have a home warranty. Most home warranties are in the neighborhood of $600 to $700 a year, and then it's $100 deductible. So I mean, they're to me, they're well worth it, especially if some of the components in that house are a little bit older. So if everything's brand new, you probably don't need one, but you never know. They're always good to have. Now, these next 3 items are things that, kind of more pertain to if you're going to work with me, here's how I like to do things. So the one thing, when we first start working together, I'm going to have you get WhatsApp on your phone. It's just an encrypted 2-way communication system. It's just easier for me to send video files through WhatsApp, because that's what I'm typically going to do, especially if you're not here in town. What I've been doing with my clients that I'm working with is I'll go preview a house for them. I'll walk through it. I'll take a video of it, and then I'll send it to them on WhatsApp, because we can't just go by the photos that are on the MLS, because I mean, I'm the most guilty person in the world doing this. I can put lipstick on a pig better than almost anybody. So I'll take a house that it's okay, not great, and make it look like Better Homes and Gardens because of photos and videos that I take. So other agents do the same thing. So we want to really know what you're dealing with. So we have to do a walkthrough tour of the home, just so you can really see what the house looks like. And the best way to send those video files quickly, that I found anyway, is through WhatsApp. So I just have everybody install it on their phone. It's free. And that way we can do video calls. You can make regular phone calls through it. You can text and do instant messaging, and then send. Especially because if I have an Apple device and I'm trying to send a video to somebody with an Android, if it's more than like 30 seconds, they're not going to get it unless they have WhatsApp on their phone. The next thing that I'm going to strongly recommend, anybody that's going to buy any kind of investment property, what you want to do is create an LLC. That doesn't have to be a Michigan LLC, although I'm not super familiar with how you set one up in other states. I've set up several in Michigan, so that's a piece of cake for me. It takes like literally less than 5 minutes to do. But you're going to want to have that, and the reason why is simply just to protect you and your individual assets. So hypothetically, say you own a rental property, and your tenant, who's been great up until now, slips in the shower, hurts themselves, and now they want to sue you. Well, if you just own that property in your name, they can sue you. They can go after everything you own. They can go after your properties and everything. It's a nightmare. If you own an LLC, or if you have an LLC that is owning that property, they can only go after the assets that are in the LLC, which is essentially going to be the house and probably $200 in a bank account, because you're going to want to check with your accountant first. But typically speaking, you're going to want to not have much liquid funds in that account, because you don't want that to happen. And then somebody can come after you for some substantial rewards. If you have like tens of thousands of dollars in that account, they could potentially, if they win a lawsuit, they could have access to that. So we don't want that to happen. So for that reason, that's why you create an LLC. Now, best practices is to have a separate LLC for each individual property. And that's a pain in the butt when you own a lot of properties. So, I've got investor clients who, own, 70, 80, 100 properties. And the way that they do it is they have like 5 or 6 different LLCs controlling them, rather than have 60 different LLCs. Like, that's just you're going to spend more money on taxes every year than you will for your accountant than you will the rent that you're going to make. But that's the best way to do it, especially if you're going to flip a house. There's not going to be, you're not going to run into that same problem, but you still want to have that that corporate shield there to protect you individually from anything that might come up with that property. And then the last thing to consider, at least for this video, when you are looking to invest in property, this won't really pertain to flippers as much. This is more of a rental property thing, but you're gonna, especially if you're out of town, you're gonna want to have some kind of property management in place, more than likely. If you are, fixing and flipping a home, you can still. I've done this for clients before, where I'm not a general contractor. I'll just kind of oversee the repair. I'm not a contractor. I'm not the one doing the work. I'm not charging them money for it, for repairs or anything like that. But I'll just kind of monitor the repairs, make sure everything's progressing according to the timeline that we were given, make sure everything's on track, and that everything, more importantly, looks good to where when it's time to put the property on the market to sell, it's going to be something that we want to sell and can get top dollar for. Now, on the rental side, especially if you're not in town, you need to have somebody that can quickly interact with a tenant, that the tenant knows who to call, and can take care of any maintenance items that need to be taken care of, can collect rent for you, can place tenants for you. All those things are super important, super critical, and especially if you own multiple properties. It's hard to do when you're not local. So for that's really the only reason why we started back up our property management division. So I've got 2 agents full time working on property management. Like, there's a gazillion property management companies around town, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. I started ours up because I don't trust anybody else to manage my clients' rental properties than myself. So there's some good ones out there, but I feel that their fees are a little higher than they need to be. I'm a firm believer, just because you can charge a certain amount for something doesn't mean you necessarily should. And at the end of the day, for me, my goal is to keep as much money in my clients' pockets as possible and have those properties cash flow as much as possible, so that you can turn around and buy more properties. So I don't nickel and dime on the management fees, because I want you to be able to have the flexibility to go out and buy more properties and just kind of continue to expand and compound your investment portfolio. So I hope this helps you guys. Like I said, we can take each one of those items and probably do a full video series on them, because there's a lot to delve into there. But those are just like the most important things if you're thinking about investing, that you really want to have in place, probably even before you start looking at properties. So if you do have any other questions, if there's something I missed, if you want a little bit more information on anything that we just talked about, just reach out anytime. You can call or text me, 586-491-5622. You can also reach me at 248-561-6155. Shoot me an email, dwerenka@m1realty.net. Instant message, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, you name it, I'm on it. I respond quick. And most of all, thank you so much for watching this, guys. I really appreciate it. This channel has really turned into something special. I've met so many awesome people through here. It's so cool being able to work with people from all over the country and help them generate wealth and earn passive income right here in little old Detroit, Michigan. So that's cool, guys. I really appreciate that. And if there's anything I can do for you, just reach out. That's what I'm here for. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week. Have a great one, and thank you so much.